Okay. Come on, computer. There we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you again for being here. Excuse me. Proud of my throat this morning. So it's that time of year, onboarding and licensing, and match day is a month away. I hope we're all super excited. So yeah, Deb and I just wanted to go over licensing and onboarding and orientation and stuff like that. And I'll show you where to find any documents and where we're going to upload things for you guys. So take it away, Deb.
All right, can everyone hear me? All right, so I first wanted to just do a recap on the renewals. They, as you know, we're deep into the limited license renewal season right now. I do have the due date is March 1st, which is only a couple of weeks away. We are off to a great start right now. We have a little bit over 110, maybe 120 as of yesterday, renewals already approved. Very important to pay attention to any emails from me requesting supporting documentation. Right now, I have many change of program applications that I am holding until I receive the supervisory evaluation form from the program that I can't submit until I have all supporting documentation. So important, if you see a spreadsheet from me that's requesting it, or I may reach out to you directly if I have time. So just keep an eye on any emails from me going forward. So yeah, let's try and get all these renewed before match day, because I do have to switch my concentration to the initial limited license applications for all your new incoming trainees. So it'd be great to have these all done. I know we most likely won't have every single one, but that's a goal that I'm shooting for. All right, Cass, next slide. So let's talk about licensing for new hires. So the first step in that for me is going to be for you to confirm the spreadsheet, the Google Doc, I believe that Cassie will be sending out right after match day. The most important information that I need from that spreadsheet is the name, degree, program, PGY level, and a personal email address. So very important that the name of your new incoming trainee, that you enter the legal name. Once I initiate an application for your new trainee, they're unable to edit their name. So I am going to enter it exactly how you enter it into that spreadsheet. As you know, some IMGs have several different names. They sometimes cut out some of their last name because they don't want it as long, but it has to match their legal name. So if they have a social, it's going to match that. It's going to match their passport. And many departments throughout UMass are going to need that legal name as well. So that part's very important. The personal email address, the Mass Board really recommends that it be a personal email address, like a Gmail, Hotmail, and no .org or .edu. The reason for that is many of the new hires are just coming from medical school, and they're going to lose their email address. So they're going to not be able to receive any communication from the board regarding their application if that email address is cut off. So the personal email address is the best. And again, the legal name is also very important. If by chance I do have to change the name, I can do that by withdrawing the application. So if they completed the whole thing, they'd have to do it all over again. I can also reach out to the board to have them do it, but it's best not to have to go that route. Next slide, Cass. So what we're requesting is that the new hires complete their license application as soon as it's initiated. We have a due date of April 19th. Oh, I spelled that incorrectly. Sorry about that. So the due date's April 19th to have all limited license applications in. This will hopefully guarantee a 7/1 start date. So the sooner the better. What I ask of all coordinators is just keep an eye out for any spreadsheets regarding licensing updates. Reach out to your trainees if you see that I might be waiting for something, just to give them a little push. Otherwise, there's not much that you can do once they've started their application. That's really on GME, but I will reach out to you if I'm having a hard time getting them to start it or waiting for information from them. So I will be initiating all initial limited license applications right after March 20th. That gives you time from match day to March 20th to get all the information that I need to initiate all of the licenses. This invite will go to your new trainee's personal email address that was provided to us. Next slide, yes. So if your new hire is currently at UMass in a residency and they're switching to a fellowship at UMass, they've already received their change of program application because they're considered a reappointment, not a new hire for our perspective. They're a new hire for you, but they're not going to appear on these lists. They're going to appear on the reappointment. So they've already received their invite to apply. A lot of them have already. And like I said, I'm waiting for supervisory eval forms for some to send them in for approval. One thing that's nice, I noticed, I've already gotten 2 change of programs approved. They don't need to appear at a board meeting now, I have been noticing. It's not automatic approval once I submit. However, it has been taking a couple of days. So that is really good news. So one thing that's changed. If you have trainees that were away outside of UMass for 1 to 2 years and they're coming back, this usually occurs in surgery. They will appear on the new incoming group because they were away from UMass. So they have a different application to complete, and I will let them know which application. Once they receive the onboarding package, from the directions, they should figure it out as well, but I will reach out to them to let them know. Next slide. So as in the past, GME will pay the $100 fee for all initial limited license applications that we submit. We pay for all of the renewals now as well, change of program, same program applications. One thing to remember, I have had many emails from trainees asking if GME reimburses the $600 fee for a full license application. We do not. Some programs may, and I do suggest that they reach out to you to confirm. They can also, if they're current residents, they can use their book educational allowance towards that fee and any fee associated with license applications. So the license instructions and tips are included in the onboarding package for your new trainees. So once they get their onboarding package, they're going to see all of the instructions. I have to initiate the application. So what I'm asking for them in the directions is to print out everything, read through everything before they even start. That will definitely help with questions, emails, calls to me. One thing I need your help with is to read through the FAQs, read through all of the instructions, this will help with you answering questions for them. If there are any questions that you are not 100% sure on, absolutely send them to me. I will help them. I've already had some trainees reach out to me, the ones that have already matched, and I've assisted with them. They most of them are requesting to receive the invite to apply for the license, but we're waiting for the final onboarding package to be ready. And once that's ready, hopefully maybe in a couple of weeks, we will initiate those license applications for the trainees that are on visas anyways, to help them. Next slide. So one thing also to remember, never ever should a new trainee reach out to the Mass Board directly. When a trainee is on a limited license, they like any questions or concerns to come through the GME office, and then we will reach out to the board for them. If your new trainee is applying for a full license, they are able to reach out to the board. They will be the ones to receive status updates, questions from the board. Anything related to a full license application does not come through GME. So it's important to let your new trainee know if they're planning to apply for a full license, they must do that. They can start that process right now. Mandatory for a full license application is they need to set up a profile with FCVS. This is only mandatory for a full license application. And that process takes some time. So they have to set that up first and then apply for the full license. So some of them may not be aware of that, so it can take some time. If they're applying for the full license for a 7/1 start, they really should definitely submit the application by mid-March. You know, maybe give or take a couple of weeks, but again, they are not taking as long as they used to, but there are some cases, especially if there's yes answers or just something that may delay the full license approval. We'd like to say 3 to 4 months. Next slide, Kath. So the board meets twice a month. There are applications that must appear at a board meeting. That would be any application that had a yes answer, that has, you know, a past criminal history, say, or, you know, an arrest when they were in during college or whatever. They do sometimes need to meet at a board. The application has to go before the board for approval. This can take some time. So I put a link that has the board meetings. It's every 2 weeks. The last meeting, if you have a trainee that the application must appear, the last meeting before July 1st is June 27th. The next meeting after that is not till July 18th. So that would definitely be a late start if that application was not approved by then. This refers to the limited licenses as well as the full. I did switch over to that. So these meetings are for both. So very important that we get started on those as soon as we can, so we don't have any delays. There are times I did want to bring up that if you have a new trainee and you were not aware of some issues in their past that may appear in the application, I do reach out to the program director, or I request that the new hire reach out to the program director to be honest and fill them in with the issues that the application is having. One reason for this is because the new trainee is going to be asked to appear at a board meeting. This has happened, you know, many times. The program director is also asked to appear as support for this new hire at the board meeting as well. So This is why I do want the trainee to reach out to the PD, or I will reach out to them directly. It's a good idea for the program director to attend. Usually these meetings are by Zoom right now. I don't believe they're live anymore. So once the new hire applications are approved, what the board is going to do again is they're going to issue the provisionally issued limited licenses. Those are usually automatic once I submit, especially if there are no yes answers. They'll be issued this provisionally issued limited license. What they do is they send a letter that states that the new trainee is allowed to begin their training. It is an actual license, so they are able to practice as of 7/1. As soon as they're issued the provisionally issued limited license, I will add that to the spreadsheet to let you know that they are going to be able to start on time. In between the provisionally issued of say that's issued in April, it could be just a week later that they issue the final certificate, which is great news. And at that point is when I will update MedHub, once we have the final approval and the limited license certificate. I'm not going to upload the provisionally issued limited licenses, however, but I will provide those to immigration. I will provide those to Med Staff Services because they do need them to get them onboarded. But that's all I have. I wanted to leave it up to some questions, but we can wait till after Cassie's presentation till the end. So think up any questions regarding licensing that you may have, and I will be happy to answer. Take it away, Cass.
Awesome. Thanks, Deb. So, there's just something in the chat real quick. Yes, I will, at the end of the presentation, I'm going to show you where all of our slides and the recording and everything, where to find all the documents and resources that we talked about today. So yes, I will do that. So onboarding after match day, for those that have done this several times, not too much is changing. For those of you that are new, this will be some new information to you. So, on the computer. There we go. Okay. So after match day, you get your matches. It's super duper exciting. Awesome. The Friday of match day, I am going to send out a spreadsheet very similar to the one that we did for the status sheet. It's an Excel workbook that'll open up in your in a web browser, so it's just a shared document, and it'll just be for us. What I need immediately after match day, you need to go to ARIS, and you need to, when you do print application, the only thing we need is the My ARIS application. Please do not attach CVs, transcripts, MSPEs, letters of recommendation. We don't need that stuff. We really don't want that stuff. It clogs things up. Please send them as individual documents, not just one big, huge document with all of your people, because then we have to take it all apart to upload it to MedHub. Please do that. And then we'll also need in a separate document their if they have COMLEX or USMLE transcript. Like I said, when you do a print application, you have those options. If you check them off like this, they're all going to print in one document. Please print them as separate documents and send them separately. If you need to send them in a zip file, that's fine, whatever. But email them to me directly. I will make sure that they get taken care of and filed properly and then uploaded. The other thing before you print applications, I ran through everybody's ARIS the other day and made sure of this, but just in case anything changes, when you go to your setup, there's the tab for setup in ARIS. Everybody still hear me? Okay, sorry, I was just told that the recording was stopped, but I just want to make sure everything's okay. All right, recording's still going.
It did stop, Cassie, I think, but then it said recording in progress. So you might end up getting two links at the end.
All right, let me do this again. Hold on 1 second. All right, so like I was saying, make sure when you go to your setup, everything is grayed out so it's viewable. If any of these things are checked off the other way, so the bar is green, that means it's screened. Nothing should be screened. We need to be able to see everything on those applications. Please make sure that that's all set. And then same thing, the last thing about the USMLE or COMLEX scores, if it's pulled directly from the ARIS application, darn it. If it's pulled directly from the application, we can submit that to the licensing board. If nothing is uploaded into their application, or if it's out of date, they've taken an exam, there's an additional exam score that's not in their report that's in ARIS, the trainee themselves is going to have to request a copy of it sent to the board, and that can cost money. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. If you have any questions about, you know, the transcript or anything for licensing, you can talk to Deb about that. Any questions about ARIS application? Very simple, just the My ARIS application, nothing else, and just email that on over to me. So this is the spreadsheet that I will be sending. So match day is the 15th. I need this information back by the 20th. Please just get it in ASAP. I can't send out onboarding packages to your people until I have all of this information, all of these details, because in order to set these people up in MedHub, in order to assign them an onboarding package, I need all of these details. And specifically the personal email address, I will not be accepting any .org or .edus. I know some people are like, oh, well, I still have access to my .edu email address. I do not care. They need to have a personal email address. There are issues with MedHub sending things to .org and .edu email addresses we've found in the past. I cannot determine any sort of pattern here, but I don't want a work address and I don't want a school address. It needs to be a .com personal email address. If they don't have one, please ask them to just takes 2 seconds to set up a Google, a Hotmail, a Yahoo email address just for this purpose. It can only be a .com or like a .me or something like that. So yeah, you just need, like Deb said, we need the legal first and last name, their degree, their program, PGY level. If you don't know if they're like a 4 paid as a 5 or something like that, don't worry about that. We'll handle that one. But you know, whatever PGY level they should be, we'll verify that as well. If you know they're on a visa, which are matched people we already know about, but if you know they need a J1, H1B, please put that in, and then their personal email. And I will send that Friday on the 15th, so you guys have it. You have the link. Just fill that out as soon as possible. You don't need to resend it to me. I will see it getting filled in, so you don't need to worry about that. So assigning the onboarding package to the trainee. For those of you that are new, this is your first time doing onboarding, GME is a central place for all things onboarding. You don't need to worry about assigning them, you know, an appointment contract or sending them licensing instructions or anything for employee health, nothing. We handle all of that through us. If there's anything program specific, that is on you. So we'll enter each trainee into MedHub. They will not be an active trainee in MedHub until their IS Epic training day or 7-1, whichever comes first. The only access they will have to MedHub is their onboarding package. I'm going to show you what that looks like from the trainee side and from your side in just a moment. You guys will have full access to their account as if they were a regular trainee. Look, right now, you see all their tabs on the side. You know, you can upload documents for them, whatever you need. All onboarding packages to every single new incoming trainee, including those that have already matched, will go out on 3/22. We will send an email in the morning to everyone on our mailing list, kind of a spot check too, to make sure that we have correct emails and things. So that way, if we get any bounce backs, we can fix that before we push out the onboarding package later that afternoon. They'll get a special link by email from MedHub. Again, I can kind of show you what that looks like. And it'll have a link that brings them right to a special page in MedHub. They type in their first and last name, and then they're able to complete their package. We do let them know that sometimes it ends up in their junk or spam. That's why we send them that preemptive email first, just kind of let them know this is coming. All onboarding packages are provided to the trainee. All onboarding documents are provided to the trainee through the package. If you do have any specialty specific documents that need to be completed, if you want to send them to me, I can attach them to the onboarding package for just your program. If you want to send them separately, that's completely fine as well. So these are all the documents that are delivered by MedHub and when they are due. So the very first thing that needs to be done is the onboarding form. The onboarding form collects demographic data, socials, birth dates, emergency contacts, medical school history, blah, blah, blah. Again, I'll show you that in a minute. The next thing that's due are the credentialing packets. There's a credentialing packet and then the Mass Health Medicare forms, and then the lab coat and scrub order. Then on the 19th, we need all of the badges, whether that's a regular ID badge form or the high priority one. Licensing, their appointment contract, their employee health packet, the malpractice form, and the survey for prior EPIC experience. Last year, we offered prior EPIC experience, which was a truncated EPIC class to everyone that did either, I think it was emergency medicine, inpatient, ambulatory, and surgery. That is only going to be available at the fellowship level. We discovered last year that if you have EPIC access as a med student, it's different than the access that you have as a physician or a resident. So any of that prior experience wouldn't completely be applicable. So only fellows who have done a residency or have had EPIC experience at like a physician level can kind of test out and take that truncated class. That's all explained in the document as well. On 5.1, we have an HR learning module and quiz, the IS confidentiality form, the training certification survey. So that's your BLS, ACLS. We send everyone a survey to complete in a Google form that shows like which classes they need to sign up for. Because during orientation, we offer all those classes, obviously. I'm going to walk through that schedule in a moment as well. And so, you know, if people don't need their BLS, if they already have an active ACLS or ATLS, something like that, we know how many people we need to send over there. We're hoping not as many as we have on our list right now because space is a little tight, but we'll figure that out. And we will, once we have all those numbers, we will send you a list of who you need to register for classes. You don't have to play a guessing game as to who needs to register. So we will send you that complete list once it's all filled in. And then the welcome lunch RSVP. There's a handful of handouts that we send as well. We have an apartment listing, some financial and insurance information, a medical mortgage flyer. UMass 5 Savings Bank offers mortgage packages and assistance for people, you know, relocating, needing to get a mortgage quickly. The welcome letter, onboarding FAQs, and then the parking rules and maps. Now you can see there's some things here that are, there's actually only one thing that's highlighted in green. That document, the Mass Health Medicare forms, those have to be mailed in physically. We need originals of those, they can't be digital. Those forms, Mass Health Medicare forms, need to be filled out in blue ink. It's very clearly explained in the instructions. Needs to be filled out in blue ink and cannot have a single date put on it. That's what credentialing has asked of us, so that's what we passed along. Anything that's highlighted in red here that has red text, those are documents that the coordinators in the program have additional processing that you need to do. So the badge form, it's up to the coordinators to go into the orientation package and pull those, the badge forms and send them to parking. Appointment contract, just like our reappointment contract, the program director needs to sign off on those, same method that they do the reappointment. the IS confidentiality form, it gets filled out by the new incoming, and then an email from, goes to the PD through DocuSign. The PD needs to DocuSign something in there. Again, very clearly explained. And then the training certifications, I just explained that all to you. And this is, I do have a document of this kind of clearly delineating what needs to be done with each document, and I'll show you that in a moment. Oh, I did go over this. So this is what has to be done for each one of those things I just discussed. Contracts, just like reappointment contracts, we assign them through MedHub. The final signed copy will be available in training history tab, just like the reappointment. GME has already sent through DocuSign the contracts for anyone that already matched on a visa. They're all signed. Those folks will need to re-sign the contract in MedHub just so it lives in MedHub as well. Because right now I just have a document and I can't attach it to their training history that way. They have to sign it in MedHub. Nothing has changed on their contract. It's the same exact version. Oh, good. Oh, I didn't realize I did this. How would you follow checklists in MedHub? Okay, so you can follow along. It's going to be a little easier if I just show it to you. Oh, there's a couple things in the chat real quick. Oh, okay. Hold on one second. Let me get over to MedHub real quick. Oh, sorry. There we go. All right. So from the administrator side, to look at, I had this all set up so I wouldn't have to do this. So this is the administrator side. To follow along with your orientation or onboarding package for your people, go to any one of them. You see this person's not actually an active trainee yet, but you as the administrator still have an access to their full account. If you go down to orientation, this is, you'll see 2024 trainee onboarding package. This is what's available to them. So you've got your onboarding form. See if I can, I'll show you what that looks like on the other end. And you can see like if there's a note, if there's a file, you'll see this little PDF. So you can actually pull up their onboarding package itself. And this is actually very similar to what they see as well. So they fill out all this documentation, their contact information, employee emergency contact, their medical school, graduate school if they want to put anything in, if they have any prior training history, if they do have any certifications, what the dates are, USMLE scores, and then they just sign it. It's pretty simple. They've got their appointment contract. If you see anything in orange, obviously GME needs to review. Once GME signs and approves their contract, that'll turn green. You can see if something's incomplete, if something's been completed. And there's all the instructions for each type of license. So there's brand new people applying for their limited, if there's the change of program, and same program instructions like Deb was talking about, and then the eligibility and applying for a full license. We've got our credentialing and Mass Health Medicare package, employee health. If they have an ECFMG certificate, they need to upload that there. Fellowship level will, fellowship level will ask for their score reports just so we have a copy. There's a resident fellow badge ID form. There's also the high priority badge form. That's only for certain programs. I've checked off which programs see that because not every program needs to complete that. But you can see it's incomplete right now, but once it is complete, there'll be that PDF icon over here and you just click on that and you download the document just like I did with the onboarding package. Malpractice, again, I have those templates for every single program. So depending on what program they're in, it's already pre-filled for them, and it gives them instructions on which exact questions to answer. And then they upload it back here. I collect them and send them off to get processed. You've got all your additional surveys and stuff down here. Your human resources, we're still waiting on the 2024 module, so it still says 2023 right now. We're going to have a couple of learning modules that they have to complete, and then there's those flyers that we hand out. So you can follow along right from here just to kind of see where people are at. As I check, I will be checking this daily to approve things. So if anything's just sitting unapproved, it's because we might have a question or something like that. The way we handle approving the credentialing packet is we leave that as GME needs to approve until we get clearance from credentialing that those people are cleared. So if anybody asks you, I sent in my credentialing packet, why does it still say, it's pending, blah, blah, blah. It's because we haven't received clearance from credentialing yet. Credentialing takes a while. Like, that's probably going to sit as yellow until June, mid-May. Yeah, mid-May, June-ish. That's when we start getting those approvals. We do have new people in the credentialing office that we're working with this year, so maybe things will change, maybe things will move a little faster. Not quite sure yet. So that's that. Let me get to here. And then there's something else I wanted to show you in, I did that, okay, so. That's the paper icon, there we go, all right. Why is it like this? All right, so in order for someone to start on July 1st or August 1st or whatever scheduled start date you have, the trainee has to have a license, full or limited, whichever one. They obviously cannot work unless they have a license. All trainees must clear employee health, and that includes their mandatory drug testing by their effective start date. When it comes to the drug testing and the drug testing, the employee health, once they receive the paperwork from the trainee, they will send an email directly to the trainee saying, okay, got your stuff, now you need to go to Quest to get a drug test. The type of testing that they need to do at Quest, it's not a walk-in kind of thing. They have to schedule an appointment with Quest. They can do that in their location. They can do it once they get here. It's better to get it done as soon as possible. I have seen like people going and getting drug tested, on June 28th. I'd much rather not wait that long to clear somebody, but they do need to contact Quest and make an appointment. It's really simple to do it online. They can find a Quest nearby them. Employee health sends them a form, the specific form that needs to be completed. So that's actually pretty simple. All trainees must clear credentialing by the Med Staff Services. In order to be clear credentialing, you got to have a license. And clearance is also needed by the immigration office for all trainees that are on visas. If these 3, possibly 4 conditions are not met, your trainee will not be able to start and will not get paid. So please make sure you're following along in the orientation package there. Reading emails from us, if we ask you to reach out to your trainee about something, it's because we've tried a time or two and we're getting nowhere. So please, please, please make sure you get in touch with those folks and pay attention to any emails coming from us on any kind of tracking. Orientation. We have an orientation schedule. Yay. I will send, we got a little chat question. Are the onboarding packages going out to those already matched before match day? Yes, on the 22nd of March, every single orientation, every single onboarding package to every single new incoming trainee is going to be sent out. We have not sent out any onboarding packages yet. Everything is going to get sent out on the 22nd. That's why I need all of those email addresses and the spreadsheet completed by all of you by the 20th. So we have all of that information. I can get it all processed, get them all into MedHub, and get everything out on Friday. So for orientation schedule, I do have a spreadsheet that we've condensed a little bit. It's not that big, huge thing with all the different colors and stuff. So that'll be uploaded for you guys as well. But BLS on the 14th, those are the programs that are going to go then. There's 30-minute sessions. Once you guys go in to start picking when to start registering your people, that's when I think they'll have like the time slots to choose from. We were just given this entire day from 8 to 5 is BLS for these programs. BLS on Tuesday the 18th, that's for internal medicine. Then we have ACLS. Those programs will go that day. And then ACLS on Tuesday, those programs will go that day. That's supposed to be ENT, comma, OBGYN. Sorry about that. Then we have PALS on Thursday the 20th and Friday the 21st. And then we have ATLS on Monday and Tuesday. It's a 2-day class. Again, this year, Miles is going to be the point person for registering anesthesia, neurosurge, orthopedic, plastic surgery, and vascular, because this class is capped at 20 people. Obviously, there's more than 20 people here. So work with Miles, figure it out like you guys did last year, and he will be the point person on that. Now, everyone's favorite, the IS Epic training. This has been insanely difficult because we only have a limited amount of rooms because of the med school. It's been interesting, but I think we finally figured it out. We're in good shape at this point. So we have 4 days of IS Epic training. Friday the 21st is residents only in those programs. We have Tuesday the 25th, just internal medicine. Wednesday the 26th, we have just those programs, those residency programs. And then on Tuesday the 2nd, that's every single fellow. All fellows, including all the pathology fellows, EM fellows, radiology fellows, diagnostic radiology residents, the new incoming, and any change of program folks. So if you've got somebody that's internal medicine now or surgery that's a COP to diagnostic radiology, they have to go to this EPIC training because the radiology EPIC is different from the inpatient ambulatory EPIC that they trained in last year. I know, the pain in the butt. Same deal with the dermatology residents. I don't think we have anyone that's currently here that's coming into dermatology though. So they're not changing program, they're brand new. But that's when derm will go for their training is on the 2nd. If you have any issues with this schedule, please tell us now. It was insanely difficult to put this schedule together. I don't think there's any wiggle room, but if there is a huge issue with this schedule, please reach out to me and Melissa and we will see what we can do. IS Epic training is mandatory for every single new incoming trainee. This is mandatory for any provider, actually. In the morning, they will do the phones. I will do a MedHub orientation. They'll do their Imprivata, fingerprinting, all that fun stuff. And then in the afternoon, they will switch over to Epic and do their Epic training. This is mandatory. If they do not attend, they can't work because their Epic won't work for them. Same thing with their network, their email, all that fun stuff. It's from 8 in the morning to 5 at night. You will need to make sure you get your trainees, your new incoming trainees, their badges before they start. If you want to be, if you're pathology, you want to be here Friday for, 7:30, meet them at the front door to give them their badge. That's fine, but they can't get into the building without their badge. They have to have that. We got a question. Is there a GME orientation date? Going to get to that in just a moment. So please make sure people are on time. Frequently, I have to call a handful of people at 8 o'clock the mornings of to say, where are you? We do send them a map. We send them instructions on how to get to the ITLC room. We all know UMass is huge and confusing, and you never know where to go. Reach out to your folks beforehand. You guys know where you're going. Do you understand where? Maybe like make a little video of like, here's where you go, something like that. So just make sure your people are informed. And then here's our miscellaneous orientation activities. So there's medicine procedure training is going to be Thursday, the 20th. Just waiting to hear from internal medicine on what time works best for them. This is required for internal medicine, IMP, psych, and anesthesia. We've got our welcome lunch in the Sherman Center on the 24th from 12 to 1:30. And then kind of during and after that time, we have our resources fair. We're going to have a bunch of tables with all of our different resources, you know, Tent Health, the wellness folks, EAP, the CXO office, immigration will be there, you know, all just our different like things that we provide to folks. We'll have little tables for them. We have a GME resident orientation. Again, it's going to be via Zoom on the 27th from 8 to 12. This is required for all new incoming. We will record it. We will send out links, all that fun stuff as we get closer. There's a VA orientation at the Plantation Worcester site on the 28th from 8 to 11. That's required for IM, room, psych, and forensic psych. And then we have our fellow orientation, again, via Zoom. And it's required for all new incoming fellows. If for any reason resident or fellow can't attend the orientation on the day they are assigned, they can go to the other one if emergency or something comes up. It's the same information in both. We just figure, you know, fellows can't always do anything, be here, etc. before 7/1, so that's why we have it later than the resident one, but the same information across both. When we get a chance. Is the 7/1 orientation for fellows also for the fellows starting on August? Yes. If they can attend that, awesome. If they can't, understandable. Like I said, we will be recording it and providing it in MedHub so you can share that with your trainees coming in so they can watch it. Because it's a lot of really good information, and we'll answer, you know, HR is there, pharmacy, the school police, I think Dean Flott speaks, Stacy speaks, you know, so it's a really good, you know, welcome to the institution. Onboarding orientation resources. In order to find resources for just all of this that we're talking about, like I'm going to upload the schedule into here. I'll put any FAQs that are in the onboarding package in here as well. So just go to resources, documents, coordinator, job aids, resources. There's a folder called orientation and onboarding. This is what's in there currently. So I have the thing that shows the forms delivered by MedHub, all of our licensing and onboarding. This set of slides right here is called licensing and onboarding. So if you need a copy of these slides, scrub machine instructions. If you guys are new and you don't order scrubs and you need to do it through scrub machine, there you go. Resident MedHub orientation. This is the presentation that I give to trainees at IS Epic orientation. If anyone can't attend, you know, if you have anybody starting off cycle that doesn't attend IS Epic training during orientation, you can show them that on how to use MedHub, how to use the app, how to log in, all that fun stuff. And then obviously the link to the certification courses. And we have the link to the onboarding orientation Google folder that we used last year as well. Going to do our best to duplicate everything in both. So it's not like, is it in this folder? Is it in this folder? We'll duplicate resources just in case. And that's it for me. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen so I can open this up. And does anyone have any questions? Do you know when the mandatory immigration orientation is yet? I don't think there is one. Melissa?
Yeah, I don't think that she's doing a session like she's done in the past. I think she's going to share slides, and I think they'll be at the resource fair to connect with folks to do, you know, sign documents and things like that. But I'll definitely be checking with her to see. But that was my understanding, is that they weren't going to do like an hour session as they've done in past years. So more to come on that.
So yeah, let's see, I think that was just reviewing my notes myself. I think that was all that I had. I think the most important part of the onboarding to consider is, make sure you're reading emails, make sure you're following along on deadlines. If you got to make notes for yourself or, put calendar reminders or anything. But, the biggest thing is make sure you get us those applications for reports and fill out the spreadsheet by the 20th. We have to have that information. Otherwise, we can't send a package. It's a really, really busy time of year. You guys may have, 5, 10, 15, 20 new incoming, but we're projected to have something like 220 to 225 incoming, plus I think I have 178 leaving, plus all the reappointments right now. So we're managing a lot in our office. So please, please, please read instructions, reread, any slides that we send out. Please pay attention to emails and deadlines and stuff like that. It'll be a huge weight off of our shoulders while we're trying to juggle a lot at this time of year. So thank you very much.
Hey, Cassie,
Yes.
quick question. If our fellows are moving to Massachusetts and they might not make the EPIC training, is there something else we can do for them? Maybe set up a later date? What do we do?
If they are supposed to start on 7/1, they have to attend.
No,
this
I'm sorry, it's a fellow. They're starting August 1st.
Okay, that's a different story. So anyone that's starting off cycle, as in 8/1, I know there's a handful of programs that have an 8/1 start date. So for that, it's tough because in the past, it was easy enough for programs just to reach out to EPIC to be like, hey, I need to schedule a training. They are aware of that kind of thing and they get it taken care of. With the implementation of Workday and not all of us being in Workday, it makes it very difficult. Me and Melissa were on a 2-hour meeting last week where we were trying to figure out how this was going to work for you guys, and we were not given an answer yet. We will get an answer because obviously you guys need to plan IS training for these folks, IS EPIC training. So we're working on it. Long story short, we're working on it. We will get you those instructions as soon as we can. It will be up to the programs to, I'm assuming that's how it worked in the past. It'll be up to the programs to get an EPIC training scheduled for those people off cycle. Not quite sure how that's going to happen yet, unfortunately. And I'm so sorry. I wish I had an answer for you guys because there's several programs. I know colon and rectal, the ortho folks, OBGYN fellowships. I know it's up in the air right now. So as soon as we have those answers, believe me, I will provide you instructions, details on how to get that set up for you. If GME is going to be involved, I'm not 100% sure. I'm sorry. I wish I had a better answer right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Shirley, I see your hands raised.
Thank you. About the Workday, maybe you guys will know more. They are giving me one for my, do they say that they're ever gonna give us access to the Workday, or they don't know yet?
Yeah, so here's
I
the,
need to know.
yeah, so here's just a blip about Workday and kind of where we're at. So I'm gonna try and start with the positives about Workday. I know everyone's sort of bogged down with all of the stuff that's not working, but if we can look ahead to where we will get to, I think it's important to kind of focus on that because I think the system in itself is going to be a huge improvement. It's just the getting there is going to be tough. So future state, all residents and fellows are going to be able to manage their own reimbursements if that is how the program decides to proceed. It is a self-service tool. It's going to allow residents and fellows to really have control over their expenses, get things submitted on their timetable. They're not waiting for you or an administrator to enter them. And you know, kind of holds them accountable for getting things done when they want it to get it done. The timing of the payments is supposed to be extremely quick, and the system is now allowing direct deposit information to be entered. I know this has been a challenge for some of our residents and fellows who have concerns over getting paper checks to their mailboxes. Sometimes they go missing, sometimes they get thrown out. They're worried that someone's stealing their mail, things of that nature. So they will have the option now to just eliminate paper checks altogether. Checks and payments are being cut, I'm told, every Friday. So things that are in Workday and approved are moving through the system quickly. In the past, we were seeing, you know, maybe 3 weeks it would take people to get paid. Essentially, you could get paid, you know, within a week once the expense reimbursement is approved. The challenges right now, you know, are with access, like Shirley is mentioning. And the access piece is really hindering programs because they're being told to kind of create some workarounds to make up for the fact that the people who would normally do the work, program coordinators who are school employees, are not being allowed to have access. So this concern has been escalated to the clinical system. Andy Carson, Steve Bachet, Stacy Potts. I've been in meetings about this. It is being heard, and I think that we will see a change in that. I just can't tell you guys when that's going to happen. It may be that everybody who normally would have processed reimbursements in the old system, you know, sending invoices to AP or sending forms to AP, will eventually get access. Or they may say, if there is someone within your department who is a clinical employee who already has Workday, they may be looking to try and shift things. So until we have more information on that, there's not a lot more that I can say around how access will be turned on or given to school employees. It's a challenge even for our office. I was told last week I would have access. I still don't have access. So we're working through that. Right now, the default approval process is that it is the program director who is the approving person within the program. So we were notified to have all residents and fellows follow the instructions that I sent out to you, I think the beginning of last week, to download the mobile app, to start uploading their expense reports, that they would get routed to an approver, being the program director, unless they have delegated somebody else to do that for them, to really help try and get these reimbursements moving through the system and getting residents and fellows paid. We have heard from, or I have heard from, several program directors who do not like that process, and rightfully so. It's just not something that they're equipped to be doing. They're busy. We have people who know the policy, know how to process these, that are, you know, sort of being blocked from the system. This is a short-term workaround, and like I said, we're hoping that in the next couple of weeks, we will kind of be back to business as usual. But I think even once access is established, we're going to see some bumps in that road of just trying to get people to actually get into the system successfully and be able to follow the job aids and do the work that's needed. So if you have residents and fellows right now who are asking you questions about their expense reports, I have fielded a number of them, talked to a lot of coordinators, really trying to push it back to the residents and fellows at this point and have them follow those instructions, get their mailing address and the preferred to have their banking information entered into Workday, and work with your program director, if they are in fact the approver, to help get those moving through the system for them. In an effort to get to this future state of transparency and letting them sort of see where things are in the process, which is what Workday is great at, we need to build the system in order for it to work the way it's designed. So essentially, we want it's going to operate like a bank account. So you're going to have a beginning balance for each of your residents or fellows, and then they're going to be able to see line by line what they've spent and see an ending balance, so they know exactly at any moment in time what's available to them. That's also helpful for anybody who's managing or approving, that they can, you know, with accuracy know that, yes, I can go ahead and prove this because this person has enough funds. The challenge now is trying to collect that information for the Workday teams to build in these balances. And so I sent out a Google Sheet to all of you, I think earlier this week. Really need you guys to go in and complete that. They're asking us to provide them with the balances in the ed funds as of 12/31/23. I know some of the coordinators may not know that information. I know sometimes it's department administrators who are managing the balances. If you could just work with whoever in your group would be able to provide that information and add it to the sheet. Right now, all of the expenses that are getting through are hitting my interns and residents budget, which is where the pot of money of the ed allowance originally was, but we have now since transferred all that money out to the program. So you guys all have money in these 340 accounts, which are medical group accounts. By default, they're now hitting my budget inaccurately. So they're going to readjust them or reallocate those expenses to the correct funds for your residents and fellows once we have that information. So if you can also, if you've already given me your balances, please check that Google Sheet. I've entered in the cost center for the transfers that we did back in October. So they're all the 340.0.00 and whatever your department number is. I just need to confirm that that's where your expenses would typically hit for anything being spent from ed funds. And then once I have that completed, I'm going to be able to send it over to the Workday folks, and they will start working on, you know, building these projects for each resident so that they are accurate. It's very difficult for me because I'm not sure, you know, how much money people are supposed to have. I can't look at that sheet and with any certainty say, oh, that looks right, or that doesn't seem right. So whatever you're putting in there is what's going to be sent over to the Workday team. So if you're not sure, please contact me, you know, call me or send me an email and say, I'm really not sure how to get this information. I'd rather have it blank and us work together to figure out what the right number is than to give something that's incorrect. Yeah, so I think that's sort of the update in a nutshell. Progress is just slow. You know, we are making some progress each week. We do have weekly meetings with the Workday, the person in UMass Memorial who sort of headed up this whole Workday rollout, Brian Huggins. So myself, Stacy Potts, Steve Bachet, we meet on Fridays. So I do have a meeting tomorrow to see if we're further along in the process. But right now it's sort of in our court to get that correct information over to them so that they can start, you know, correcting it and making everything work the way that it should. I believe the way the projects were set up was there was just like a fake balance put in there so that the expenses could start moving through the system. And so once I have all that information from you, that's when the real nitty gritty will happen, and they'll make sure that everything is 100% correct. It may be that you'll have to go in once you have access to Workday and double check and make sure everything's sort of aligning with what you thought. And if there are changes that need to be made, we'll have to deal with those at that time. So if I could just get your commitment to review that spreadsheet, I will send it out again after this meeting. Get those balances, work with folks on your team if you're not the right person. Double check the cost centers that are entered in there. And reach out to me if you have any questions.
Melissa, Diana said that the Google Sheet doesn't have my ID fellows listed.
Oh, you're echoing. So it doesn't have any ID fellows on it?
Yeah, it doesn't have any ID fellows, but luckily she and her fellows are in Workday and she does their expenses. So you might want to just double check.
I would add them,
the
Diana.
balances.
I would add them, Diana, because that list is what they pulled for all of the GME programs. And so I still will need those balances for your people. So I would just at the bottom of that sheet, just fill in their names and the ending balance for them as of 12/31. I'll go in and enter the cost center that was provided to us before we did the ed allowance transfers, and I'll highlight them so that they know that they were missing on that list.
One of my fellows has the
Okay.
wrong PD listed and correct.
Yeah,
So-
so I can ask tomorrow how that can be fixed. So, or Monique, are you saying that it's wrong on the sheet?
It's wrong on the sheet, and I went through Workday with her because she has access and I don't. And the first thing she asked me when she opened it is, why is Mike Fahey listed as my manager? It should be Larry Ryan.
Oh, then is it for neonatology?
She's a
Okay.
NICU one, and they listed her as a peds. So I put it on the sheet, but just as a heads up, I don't have any clue how to fix that.
Okay,
Yeah, I've sent several current resident lists to Workday with the correct manager, the correct, coordinator, I've sent this information to Workday several times. Every time they send a report back to us being like, can you just double check this? Inevitably, the same things are wrong every time. So,
yeah.
yay, new system.
Yeah, the list that they originally sent to me to send to all of you to get the information that I'm asking for did not have program on it, and it didn't have any identifying information on there. I said, I can't really give this to people because you're asking like internal medicine to hand look up 100 of their residents and fellows or 36 in surgery or whatever it is. I need some additional information, either the supervisor or a program. And, I was like, oh, I can't do program, but I have this other field of information. Well, yes, fine. Then that would be helpful because at least you can search by that and kind of sort it. So yeah, it has been a challenge. We reviewed a list for them. Cassie reviewed it. We told them there were issues. Every time they pull a list, unless we go through it line by line, we're not 100% sure if it captures everyone. So I'm glad, Diana, that you mentioned that because I didn't even notice it when I went in yesterday to enter the cost centers. So it is important. If anyone doesn't see their program, please go and add the people that need to be on the list so that we don't miss capturing the information for them.
Yeah, it's been a lot of back and forth with Workday, and I can completely sympathize with you guys' frustration on, being kind of in the dark, don't know what's going on. So I'm cursing them every day myself because it's making our jobs a lot more difficult too. Shirley, you got something for us?
Just the last question. So I can understand clearly. They are allowed to enter their expense as of now because that's what I told them yesterday with the instruction that we received. So I sent them another email with all the documents, like the 2 instructions, how to set up their bank account, how to download it on their phone. Those are the 2 instructions that you guys sent. So the finance person in our department put up a video because she has access to kind of walk them through how to submit reimbursement, and also there's different cost centers depending on if they're using the department money or whatever it is. So they kind of have all the tools to start putting it. So my question is, can they start doing it now? Because if we're still working on the spreadsheet with the amount of money that they're supposed to have on their account, maybe it's not ready for them to go in. Some people have been waiting since December because there was like a cut. Waiting for this work.
You can have them start putting things in now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why
Thank you.
when they said it, when I released that information to the residents, I think it was on the 5th, I forwarded it to you guys so that you would know that they're being asked to do this. At that time, everything was ready in Workday for them to go in and start following those instructions, following the job aids, re-uploading or, starting the process for whatever reimbursements they may have submitted to you back in October, November, December. We've been told that, we've talked here about the 120 days. They are making an exception, given this Workday rollout. They're going to work with the IRS on whatever, they need to do in order to say, hey, this is why this happened. We had this massive rollout of the system. And so these were delayed, and they're going to take responsibility for that piece. So no expense report that is submitted is going to be pushed back or not approved because of the 120 days. So I would suggest you having conversations with your residents and fellows and really encouraging them to, if you have expense information from them from a few months ago, reaching out to them and saying, hey, these never got processed. Here are the instructions. If you have people in your department who are using the system, and like Shirley has mentioned, that can help walk them through, that's great. I'm unable to answer any questions that residents come to me with because I don't know what the system looks like. I've never been in it. I can't troubleshoot any of that. But if you have resources in your department, I would work with those people to just support the residents for now, to get these in, work with your program director. If you see their name on that Google sheet, that is who they are defaulting to as the approver. Make sure that they are going into the system. If you need to sit with them for a short time just to say, yep, that one is good. We already talked about it. It meets the policy requirements, whatever they need to feel comfortable approving them. And let's just get them moving. And then the only thing that's going to happen after this is that their actual project and their ed allowance balances will be adjusted. I think what Brian Huggins did was just sort of put in a fake amount for every resident so that things could just go through. A little bit concerning to us because if people had a negative balance or something, like it could be bad. That wasn't my call, that was his. So they were set up with, I don't know, like $2,000 or something like that. It's just so that things could start moving through. And the other thing, actually, if anybody hasn't gotten back to me with any, we were asked for policies about any supplemental education funds. So GME gives $1,000 every year to every resident and fellow. Some departments provide an additional $750. Some departments say in your third year, we give an extra $500 because they have to take some special exam. Chief residents, maybe they get an extra amount of money. I need to have those details. The medical center would like to have these set up as policies. Many of the pieces of information I've received from a lot of you was just simply an email saying, this is what we do. I let them know that that's what we currently have. There's no formal policies for these supplemental funds. And that's fine. But I do need to have those by end of day tomorrow, because again, that factors into how they set up the project codes. So if I don't have something from you that says that your residents and fellows are eligible for an additional amount of money, their project's only going to be set up for $1,000, which could be problematic. Again, we can fix it, but I would like to try and give the most accurate information before they do the work the first time. So if you haven't gotten me that, please send something to me. If it's in a policy, that's great. If it is just an email to me saying this is what our program does at this PGY level or for all of our residents, that's what I would need. The medical center does want these to be informal policies. So once I've collected all that information, I believe they're going to create a template. It may be like an addendum to the ed allowance policy through GME, but there'll be a template where you would need to work with your program to put this supplemental funding into a quote unquote policy, because they don't want to have things happening in programs that isn't in writing and approved, to avoid anyone feeling like they've been slighted in some way because they didn't get the same thing. So they're trying to do it for equity purposes. And I think just an overall good practice to have something like that in writing. So please do that for me as well. I think
Melissa,
that will.
Sorry.
Yep.
Melissa, I have a question. Like in radiology, like GME policy says that computer accessories are not allowed through the GME funds. However, for radiology, there are certain electronics that are needed, like a big monitor and some kind of a keyboard and all. So we give additional money for $350 for that. And we do have a policy says that a monitor up to 150 and the mouse with certain amount and all. How is that implemented in the workday? Because it is totally different.
If it's under 500, I think the policy that we have on file right now, so there's a policy in GME policies in resources and documents called education allowance policy. I'm pretty sure that if it's electronics under $500, it does not need to be asset tagged. If it's over $500, it has to be asset tagged and owned by the university, because technically the university is paying for that piece of technology. So if it's over $500, the university will own it. So that's kind of the rule of thumb when it comes to technology. That's why we always kind of say laptops, iPads, that kind of stuff. No, because generally those pieces of technology are over that $500 limit. Let me pull it up real quick and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So that's like really the only time that you would need to worry about, something like that. If you go to policies, you're just looking at this education allowance. Where is it? So it does say approved use of funds, this stuff down here.
Yeah.
And then, so where is it? Yeah. Allowances spent from the school funds used for equipment with a value of $500 or more must be tagged for inventory and remain property of the medical school. So that's kind of just the rule of thumb. If it's under $500, or, say they spent $503, they want to get reimbursed for $499. So that way the school won't own it. But they can use their funds for pretty much anything, except for that $500 technology thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the description there, and that was given to me by, I think, Chris Bunn. I don't know, Bina, if you have money in an MSF account, which is a special medical school fund. But that it was specifically said school allowances spent from.
That is not
an
school
MSF.
allowance. I'm talking about we pay $350 each year for our residents to buy the monitors and or the special kind of keyboards and what do you say
You buy it.
Yeah, that is where we give that $350 to the book fund. So how does the clinical know that this has to be allowed and not allowed? Does that make sense? I sent you the policies. My policies.
Yeah, so
we can take it offline.
If you're giving money into the ed fund, then I do need to know about that, because that's telling me that affects their overall balance that they have.
Yes. If
the department is paying it from another bucket,
no,
so this is for everybody. If the department's paying for something for travel to a conference, but it's not in their ed fund, it's just the department's paying, I don't need to know about those things. So if you're saying, Bina, that your department puts an extra $350 and whatever for a special monitor and a mouse into their ed fund,
yes,
then I would need to.
I have sent you the policies for both of them, and we can take it offline.
Yeah. Because I don't know about. I mean, I guess if we'd have to look on the clinical side to see what their asset tag policy is, if it's similar to the school and it is that $500 amount. So yeah, let's talk after the meeting, Bina.
Yeah,
I have a question.
Frankie, what's up?
So in regards to that same money being provided by the department, we do have some spending that we do for our residents, some things that we pay for, not something that we reimburse for. So does that pertain to us? Would we have to create a policy for that, or and let you know also what we spend the money on?
Yeah, if you're supplementing, you know, with additional monies, well, actually, you know, if it's not coming out of the ed fund and it's not being reimbursed, I don't think that that's something that we need to know.
Oh, okay,
For
it's
this
just the
purpose.
department.
It's
Okay.
whatever you are putting into their ed fund on an
Oh,
annual
no.
basis.
The department is
The other
basically
stuff, I mean,
covering for it.
we may want to, we may at some point want to review with programs what the departments are paying for and sort of have an idea of that. I mean, it could come up with CIR at some point about, you know, why one particular program funds A, B, and C, and the other program can't fund anything. So how
No,
does that?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that, I mean, it eventually might be, but for this purpose right now, I'm only concerned about the money that you provide to your trainees that is in their ed allowance that will be used for reimbursement.
Okay, thank you.
So, Monique, I don't know what else we have on the agenda. I don't remember. But if people have other workday questions, feel free to, you know, email me and I'll be sending updates, you know, as things develop and change. And when I know information so that everybody's sort of on the same page.
Yeah, it looks like we've pretty much covered everything on the agenda. We had licensing and onboarding, what to do after you match. The only thing that we haven't, and I'm not even positive if there are any updates, Megan, any updates on like lab coats and scrubs, anything you need from us at this point, or are we all set there?
Nope, so we're all set right now. That'll go into the onboarding packet. Melissa and I are working on the survey, so that should be all set. So we don't need anything right now.
Okay. The next thing we had discussed was orientation, workday updates, and then the rest are just reminders, Resident Appreciation Week, forum and ACGME surveys. So I don't know if the GME office wants to chime in on Resident Appreciation Week. I know you guys just sent us out the flyer for us to print and put in the trainee areas, but is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I mean, I think everything is sort of kind of spelled out on that flyer. We have a couple events, one that's a virtual painting event, and then also an event that will be held at Redemption Rock Brewery on Shrewsbury Street on that Thursday, the 29th. The painting option does require, well, both require registration, but the painting is capped at, you know, 40, 45 people. So, you know, if your residents and fellows are interested in that, we really need to have them sign up ahead of time. The kits will need to be picked up from the GME office, either, you know, by the trainee or if the program coordinator, you know, wants to pick it up on their behalf, but they will need to pick it up before, Megan, did we say Monday, the 26th? They have to pick it up by Monday?
Yep.
So by Monday, the 26th, that someone will have to have claimed it and make sure that they have it in order to take part in the event. We're having the daily raffles every day. One thing that's different this year is we're going to try out letting the residents and fellows actually pick the gift card that they would like. In the past, we've always sort of pre-picked and pre-assigned and said, you know, hey, John, you won the Amazon card, and John might really have wanted the Whole Foods card, you know, and so we're going to let them try picking what they would like versus us sort of telling them this is what they received. And we're hoping that that gives us a little information in terms of what their likes are and for, you know, for next year, and also give a little bit more satisfaction. It's probably nicer to get something that you really will enjoy versus being given something. There will be special prizes at the Redemption Rock event, so really encourage your residents and fellows to attend that. We're going to be doing, we met with a group of residents who said, you know, money's tight for them, doing things outside of work sometimes isn't in the budget, so we're trying to do experience-based raffles. So there'll be, you know, that'll be like $150 to a place to get a massage or facial. We're doing like axe, give $100 to do axe throwing in Worcester, to do the escape room and go out to eat, free play in Worcester, which is like, you know, a small arcade where everything's set to free, and a gift card. So we're trying to give them different things that they can go out and enjoy when they do have free time. So, yeah, so just encourage your residents and fellows to register for that and attend that on Thursday evening. Anything else that we're really excited that the Gold Humanism Honor Society students, so the medical students, have been doing a lot of prepping as well. They're collecting thank yous. They're going to have some personalized thank you cards sent to residents and fellows. They're doing care packages, and they helped design new signage for us this year, which we're really excited about. So we're going to have really big banners that really highlight GME Appreciation Week, and they'll be in the cafeterias at the campuses, as well as down by Student Affairs. So we're thankful to them, you know, for helping us get that pulled together. So yeah, we're looking forward to, you know, if you hear things, you know, any feedback that will be helpful to us as we plan, you know, for next year will be helpful as well.
There's 2 quick questions in the chat. One is for the painting class, is it first come, first serve? And the second one is, if we call GME office, can you let us know if any of our trainees signed up for the painting?
Yeah, I mean, we will be sending out, I think, I'm going to be picking up the kits possibly tomorrow. And then we are going to reach out to everybody who's registered. And we can, I guess, CC the coordinators just to let people know that they need to come and pick up their kit. And like I said, if they want to designate you to pick it up for them because they can't get down here, that's perfectly fine. And it is, you know, the first 40, 45 people that have registered. You know, once it's full, we're going to close it, and we'll sort of have a wait list of anybody that, you know, signed up after that. Anything that's unclaimed on Tuesday, we can go to the next people on the list, because we're going to give them at least 4 days to claim their kit. But we can't wait until that evening for somebody to show up. So anything that's unclaimed will get shifted to anybody on the list that registered but was after that 40 or 45 mark.
All right. Thank you, Melissa. Next on the list is just a quick reminder for our first coordinator forum meeting. I know Frankie and Cassie are on the call. I don't know if either one of you want to unmute and just put a quick plug in for that.
We got people that accepted the calendar invites. We're very excited and hope to see you there. If anybody schedule has changed and they now can attend, if they could let us know so we can update the GME office on the attendance for the lunch that will be provided, that would be awesome.
Cassie, can you remind us of the date and time for those of us that may have schedule changes?
It's going to be next week, Wednesday, the 21st, between 12:30 and 1:30 at, I think it was S3 402, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Thank you. So as you guys are aware, if you're interested in going, your schedules change, reach out to Cassie and Frankie, please. The final thing that has opened up, I always like to remind everyone to please check your faculty members. If you've had people that have left or new members that have joined that are part of your core faculty group, this is a good time to just review that list before you send out the surveys. I also always double check emails for some reason. But other than that, I think we're pretty much all set with this, you know, with this meeting. Anything else from the GME office? No? All right. Any questions about the ACGME survey? I think most of us have done it. I do know there are a couple of new coordinators, so you should have gotten an email from ACGME stating that the survey window has opened. Keep in mind, we do have to send the surveys out ourselves, and we send out the reminders. So if you haven't done that, you know, you may want to do that. The survey's open only for a couple of weeks, and you do have to get I want to say it's 70% survey completion done in order for it to be approved, and you not have like the little red mark that you are below the threshold. Okay, any questions? Nope. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the day.
Hi, everybody. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, Monique.
bye.
All right.